All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. We have 3 nights in a row of no losses. Now they're minimal nights. 2-0 2 nights ago, 2-0 3 nights ago, right? And then also last night we go 1-0. The Cavs cover for us there, guys. So that's 5 picks in a row, 3 days in a row without a loss. Pretty pumped about that. And hopefully we keep that momentum going into this weekend. Happy Friday to everyone. It is January 27th. We got 5 games on the NBA slate, and like we always do, we're gonna jump into each game. I'll give you my lean, I'll give you what I'm thinking, we'll talk about the game, but my final plays, when I'm saying, you know, we go 2-0, 2-0, 1-0, my final plays, if you want to ride with me because we're hot, or if you want to fade me because I'm dumb, those will be in the pinned comments, so make sure to check that out. They're always in by game time. If you check out the comments and there's no pinned comment, it's because we're still chewing things up, but when we spit them out, they will be in the pinned comments, so just make sure to check back later. But again, 5 games on the slate. Very excited to jump into it. Like I said, before we do, I do want to talk to you guys about the DG Fantasy Optimizer, guys. If you're over on Prize Picks, hell, if you have FanDuel, FanDuel, DraftKings, anything like that, DG Fantasy is truly where you should be starting your sports betting research, guys. They go and compare all popular sports books, lines, and odds, especially if you're over on Prize Picks. That's my favorite tool, the Prize Picks Optimizer. You can see what value you are getting. Sometimes Prize Picks has different lines than sports books. They have all the calculations and algorithms to tell you what the true odds are on these plays. So make sure to check out the DG Fantasy Optimizer. You can use the link in the description. You get $5 off, guys. Definitely something I use on a day-to-day basis. I used before I started working with Matt and TJ on the partnership and whatnot. I use this tool already, so you know it's a genuine push here, guys. I really do think you should check it out. Link is going to be in the description there. And all right, let's just jump right back into this. I can't speak this morning. We got the Pacers taking on the Bucks here. 8.5 points the Pacers are getting on their own turf. Makes a little bit of sense. The Pacers have been really up and down, inconsistent here. Total sitting at 239 right now. These two teams played, was it a week ago or so? The Pacers lost 132 to 119. They're only 5-point dogs in that game, and Milwaukee took it to them. That was the first and only meeting so far this season. In their last 10 games here, the Bucks 5-4-1 against the spread. The Pacers 2-7-1. They're absolutely struggling. And the Bucks on the road 3-2-1 against spread in their last 6. Giannis is questionable here. They just come off that win against, they played Detroit. Drawing a blank. They Jokic in Denver, right? They won by 8 points. We hit that one. Indiana's coming off of what? They've lost 8 out of their last 10 games. Not playing good basketball. If Giannis is a go, I'm going to lean towards the Bucks here minus the points. If Giannis isn't playing, or if Giannis is going to be, you know, banged up, anything like that, I'm going to be probably punting this game away. In terms of a total, I don't hate the under here. I think Indiana, obviously that pace of play was really high at the beginning of the year, the Pacers, but they've scored 110, 107, 106, not playing that great. Now their defense is where it could struggle, but I do think the Bucks, if they gain control of this game, the Bucks could win this game by scoring 115 points. So 239 seems a little bit too high for me. Moving on, we got Minnesota taking on the Grizzlies here. Minnesota 3-point dogs on their own floor here. Total sitting at 239 as well. This Minnesota team, I don't know what to make of them. I feel like every time we go to rag on this Minnesota team, all of a sudden they start playing well. They're 4-1 against the spread in their last 5, 9-4 straight up in their last 13 here. Rudy Gobert questionable. He's been on and off the injury report constantly, so obviously that's going to matter. But Memphis, obviously they have their own injuries to deal with. Desmond Bane's questionable here. Steven Adams has been out. Ja Morant, I almost said Jamant. Ja Morant has been on the injury report, obviously, right? They went on an absolute tear. They've lost 3 straight games. They lost to Golden State. They were 3-point dogs here. They did cover that one. What was that, 2 nights ago? But I do think that this Memphis team is going in the wrong direction, whereas you have Minnesota. They've won 3 out of the last 4. They dropped one against Houston, which is a pretty bad loss. Their strength of schedule hasn't been all that tough, but 3 points at home does make me lean that way. What I like more than that is the under in this game. I think Memphis, obviously they can be a run and gun fast-paced team, right? But to get back on the winning track, we know where that starts, and it's going to be with defense and whatnot. So if Memphis truly does want to get back in the win column, they're probably going to play a little bit better defense. This game's going to slow down. So I'm going to slightly lean Minnesota, but what I do like, if there were to be a final play in this game, I'll tell you right now, it probably would be the under for me. And hopefully you guys understand that rationale and logic. Moving on, we got the Thunder, 1-point favorites at home. Cavs traveling to OKC here. Total is 2 224 in this game. Cavs coming off of a win last night, 113-95 to the Rockets. Donovan Mitchell's questionable in this one. I assume, just based on this line, OKC being favorites, I don't think a back-to-back should sway it that much. So I assume Donovan Mitchell maybe doesn't get the go, or Vegas knows something, whatever it is. The Thunder are playing good basketball. They've covered 9 of their last 10 games here, but I do think that there's something going on with the line here. So if we trust the numbers, forget the players, I'm assuming Donovan Mitchell isn't playing. I think you can understand why I would make that assumption just based on the line. If Donovan Mitchell doesn't play, I'm probably going to lean OKC at home here in a pretty much pick-em game. In terms of a total, I do like the over in this game. OKC dropped 132 points last game. They scored over 120 a few times in their last 10 games. And Cleveland, they do have a good defense, but I think if Donovan Mitchell's not in there, this game gets a little bit sloppier for the better. Like more points scored, less defense, more of a run and gun fashion. So I do like the over 224 in this one. And again, the spread pick's really going to come down to that Donovan Mitchell injury. I think if Thunder are favored in this game, Donovan Mitchell doesn't play, but we shall see when the injury report gets finalized here. Moving on, we got a battle of the Florida teams here. Miami taking on Orlando. I just thought for a second, I was like, is Miami in Florida? Sometimes I'm dumb, guys. I'm a dummy. But Miami 7.5 point favorites. Total sitting at 219.5, which is super baity. It's like, oh my God, that's super low. They're definitely going to get that, right? They haven't played this year, which is funny to see. Miami 7-3 straight up in their last 10. In their last 6 games, are 5-1 at home. Against the spread, 3-2-1 in those 6 games. This Orlando team's playing very good basketball, though. 7-3 against the spread. They're 6-1 in their last 7 games. They were going on a win streak. What did they cover? They covered like 8 straight or something like that. This Miami team has been a little bit of a roller coaster here. I think that I'm going to go out and sound the alarm. I think I'm going big underdog here, leaning Orlando plus 7.5 points. Does it become a final play? Probably not. I don't know how convicted I am about this pick, but I do think that that's a lot of points to lay against a team that is covering like you read about here, and covering against good teams. They beat Boston outright, and they were 7.5 point dogs, right? They just barely lose to Denver, 11 point dogs. That was a week ago or so. So this Orlando team has a little bit of juice right now, and we're going to trust the juice. No major injuries on their side of things. Jimmy Butler's questionable. Max Strus is probable. Caleb Martin is probable here. Duncan Robinson obviously still out. So we're going to lean Orlando. In terms of a total, I guess the over, but it's really baity, guys. I don't know how I feel about that one. Moving on, we got the Warriors, who are 24-24 on the season, taking on the Raptors, who are 5 games under 500. Warriors are 5-point favorites here at home. Total sitting at 235.5. I think the total is outlandish. I think it's very, very high for this game. I am going to lean the Warriors. I think they're finally getting a little bit of their stride. Andrew Wiggins is questionable, but I think this Warriors team has looked good. Now, they've had a lot of close losses to good teams, right? Boston, they lost 2 by 3. Brooklyn, they lost 2 by 4. Cleveland, they won as 10.5 point underdogs. They beat Memphis 122-120. They didn't cover, but they were right there. They've had a very tough strength of schedule. They're finally getting healthy. I do think this is a good spot for them to whoop up on some Raptor ass. That sounds so weird. But I'm gonna go with the Warriors here, minus 5 points. And again, that total seems very high to me. Just gut reaction and looking further into it. So I'm gonna lean the under in this one as well. And guys, again, hope you have a happy Friday. Love that we're growing and grinding towards 15,000 subscribers. I cannot thank you guys enough. And I'll catch you guys in the next video, all right? Peace out.